Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. What's in store for New Hampshire in 2024? And I mean over and above the New Hampshire presidential primary. Here are some of the news headlines in 2023 that provide a clue. New Hampshire among the highest in the country for housing need. Tight labor market still choking economic growth. Border states come together to address health care shortage. Consequences of New Hampshire's child care shortage. And the cost of electricity going down for New Hampshire Eversource and Unitil customers. And the New Hampshire Department of Travel and Tourism expects winter tourism to return to pre-pandemic levels. So with those in mind, those headlines, let's take a crystal ball look at New Hampshire in 2024, other than the primary, and with my guest, Mike Cody, editor of New Hampshire Business Review, who's with us remotely, and Matt Mowry, executive editor of Business New Hampshire Magazine and co-publisher and co-owner of the Granite Media Group, who's in the studio. Good to have you here in the studio. And Mike, thanks for being remote from your home in Manchester. Thank you. So, what is hitting the pages of New Hampshire Magazine in 2024?
More of the same from 2023. We've got some deep systemic issues that we need to address and things that have boiled up into crises in the state. So our workforce constraint continues, and that is being fed by our lack of affordable housing and our lack of childcare, never mind affordable childcare.
Yeah. And Mike, same question.
Sure. You know, I was at the Center for Ethics Housing Forum a few weeks back, and they were talking about some small efforts that various parts of the state are doing to reduce the housing issues. For example, an employer building tiny homes for their employees in Dover, or a pair of entrepreneurs converting historical buildings, old houses into affordable housing. Those are the small little things that the state can do, but we're dealing with housing over a long term. So it's going to take us a while to get to that place where we have enough housing to attract the workers we need for our workforce.
Yeah, long term, two key words for housing and child care, I think, in this city. But child care and labor shortage are linked, aren't they?
Very closely so. So we saw during the pandemic, while our workforce bounced back, we saw a lot of people drop out of the workforce due to the fact that they couldn't find affordable childcare. And there are many instances of people taking a closer look at, can they stay in the state if they can't return to work because they have no place to put their child during the workday.
Mike, are New Hampshire businesses waking up to this child care shortage and what effect it has on their ability to keep their employees in person? I know there have been some meetings in southern New Hampshire in the last month or so with business leaders. I know there's a child care center up in Plymouth called Little Antlers that was created by 10 businesses who contributed to make it happen. But do you think businesses have now awakened to this problem?
Well, the larger employers certainly, because they have to. But as soon as Matt was talking about this just now, it reminded me how people will, some may drop out of the workforce, but some might find a job working remotely from home, and it might not be for a New Hampshire company. It might be for a company anywhere in the country where they can get work and stay home and be with their kids, which obviously affects the New Hampshire economy because, the employers aren't able to attract those particular workers. So everything has changed because of that.
Yeah, the cost of, good news, the cost of electricity is going down for Eversource and Unitil customers due to the decline in natural gas prices. That is good news, right?
That is good news. And there's a lot of strong indicators going into 2024. There was some worries going into the holiday season that inflation would cause sales to drop. In fact, they rose 3% over last year. We continue to see job growth. We continue to see strong wages. And the Fed is continuing to chip away at inflation. So if we're able to avoid the recession that we worried about in 2023 that never came to be, there's some really strong indicators that we'll continue to see a great economic cycle going into 2024.
Probably in the pages of your magazine.
Yes.
Mike, in the pages of New Hampshire Business Review, what's coming up that you'll be focused on in January, February?
Well, we'll certainly be continuing to look at these issues, workforce and housing, also looking at the Army project, the Advanced Regenerative Manufacturing Institute. I said it just to show you that I can, that Dean Kamen and a bunch of other folks are working on in the mill yard that's starting to gain more momentum. And again, they need workers too, so they're looking at, working with the schools to develop the training that they'll need to bring people in.
Interesting, interesting. I want to thank Matt Mowry, who is executive editor of Business New Hampshire Magazine, and Mike Cody, who is editor of New Hampshire Business Review. This crystal ball look a little bit into 2024 in New Hampshire. If you missed part of this, you can go to WMUR.com, where it will be posted all week. And by the way, Happy New Year.